Hey people, this is fantastic Dizzy review, Yolked edition, trademark. Of course, it's trademark. This was just SsethTzeentach, another Seth video. It's from 1991. Back to the greats, I guess. Whenever Seth talks about like old games or even like old style games like pixelated games, Dwarf Fortress, Space Station 13 is always good. I'm guessing this is gonna be similar to that. Looks like old timey Disney cartoon type of thumbnail of the game. I don't know. Fantastic Dizzy. I've never heard of. Obviously, it's 1991, so I never heard of it. But yeah, I like when I was kid, I like the old games type of way, right? Like 8-bit, 16-bit, whatever. But even then, like this is too old for me. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Let's watch it. Remember, if you like, don't forget to subscribe. So that way I know which type of videos to react to more. I've watched quite a few SsethTzeentach and Maxer type of videos, like video game style videos, like. I don't know, like funny way of covering thing. I don't know how to group that. So if you haven't seen those reactions, check out the link in the description and in the end of the video end card. And yeah, let's do it.
Hey people, Seth here. To address some allegations, I'd like to ask a simple question. Are you really upset because I was on the flight logs? Or are you upset because you were never invited? Fantastic Dizzy is a game which, unlike the highly optimized projects of today, is less than 800 kilobytes and fits on a floppy with room to spare. Projects of today is less than 8.
How the fuck is that? Oh my, what? I mean, I get it, like old things smaller, but 800 KB? That is insanely small. Even for 800 KB, how are all these lights and trees and all this? 800 KB is like really badly quality photo. You download a photo from the internet, like it's like a decent quality, or I don't know, like 720 or something with decent enough detail, be like somewhere like 800 KB or something. How do you have a game with coding and all this like textures in it with just 800 KB? Obviously, it's like compressed or something, but how compressed?
800 kilobytes and fits on a floppy with room to spare. It's a DOS game, so we play it on DOSBox. It's a tale older than time. You are an egg called Dizzy, and your egg girlfriend has been kidnapped. Save her before she gets groomed by the vaguely Arabic-looking wizard. Along the way, solve puzzles by using the right item. You can only hold 3, and the only way to reshuffle them is by dropping them on the ground. It's a simple system, but it's an adventure game, so everything is an insane leap of logic. Deadly spikes, Persian rug, burning fireplace, bucket of water, which looks exactly the same as the empty bucket of water, but has to be dropped into a specific pool of water to become the bucket of water, or else it doesn't work and you have to backtrack all the way to the graveyard. Also, because you're an egg, you roll like an egg. This can filter a lot of people as you'll roll into enemies. The Yolked village is infested by spiders and snails, while the city is overrun by shape-shifting Hasidics. But none of these are as bad as the butterflies, which do no damage, but stun lock you long enough that you die by something else, as evidenced by the fact that he is healed not only by eating fruit, but by the mere presence of precious stones. Dizzy is a Semitic life form, and Grandpa Dizzy is probably some kind of century egg, which explains why he has to live in hiding out of fear of becoming an Asian man's delicacy. The objective of this game is to collect 250 stars that lag your screen each time they appear. This is the intended experience, as increasing your CPU cycles will make the extra life minigame impossible, as the hourglass is tied to your clock speed. These stars are non-negotiable, and you can't finish the game without them. Some are sadistically placed, and you can't get to them except by falling in a particular manner from several screens away, let alone know of their existence. At some point, the game even expects you to trick-shot yourself against butterflies to get the final stars, while platforming on a series of clouds that sink.
Too many games of that, right? NES games and 8-bit, 16-bit, like I said, old games have this kind of element to it. Secret things, secret here and there, right? Nowadays, it's something like that developer puts in them. It's like, oh, I didn't know these games had. Then it's like a big ass thing. Back then, all games used to have that, right? I remember playing games and never know about it because I was like a kid, like really small. Then a few years, wait a minute, there's something like this. I didn't know. Then it's just like sometimes games like this, like he said, it's like part of the game. You can't finish the game without it. But then again, back then, would you even care about finishing? I didn't even know what finishing a game is. I used to just play games. There you go. But then again, I was really small. But I used to just play game, the NES game of things. Does it finish? Who the fuck knows? Who cares?
The longer you put weight on them, but that's late game. Early game is getting filtered by the minecart, which boils down to a single strategy. guessing. You guessed wrong, you get splatted. Or in my case, you take the wrong exit and get stuck on a beach. At the time, I didn't realize you could take the entrance back to the mine and drown in the ocean. Then I came back after the bubble riding minigame and got filtered all over again because I brought my aqua lung, but no flippers, and I couldn't
All
swim
of this in
out of the
800
bottom
KB.
cavern. Dizzy has taught me that I haven't progressed very much as an adult, and I'm struggling with an hour-long video game that's old enough to be the child bride that died giving birth to me. At least the music is nice. In general, this is a very nice game that you could show your grandma. It's not some NTR RPG Maker slop that would surely break her pacemaker. In the end, you fight the wizard. He's not very good at magic, but he has a mirror, which is good at reflecting magic. He's turned to stone and dies, presumably as an involuntary celibate. Your reward is
I mean, there has to be a fucking glass there, mirror. How an egg going to kill a wizard? There has to be a pretty shitty wizard. So it has to be like, a wizard was a moron, killed himself.
a kiss from your fair maiden, which I think is reward enough. Recently, I had an epiphany. I cover many games where I have a script, I have footage,
It's just 3 minutes. Why does it talk like it's over?
but it's not long enough to justify a full video. Then I realized the title of the video doesn't have to be accurate. So, I have no lack of content, which is important when I'm committed to giving sponsors the lowest quality for the highest rate of return. There are 3 things I value in this life: my mother, my data, and your mother. You know who else loves these things? Data brokers. Remember, everything you do online can be traced directly to your IP address via your service provider. But they wouldn't sell your personal information to governments and private companies just for a quick buck, would they? Data brokers use this information to piece together what kind of person you are and sell you ads. Just last week, I googled one C++ tutorial. I now own 6 pairs of programming socks. I don't even know how it happened. Such is the horror of a dreaded data broker. How did they know it was me? Because in one brief moment of foolish weakness, I forgot to turn on ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN
I mean, you know, Seth is unique, right? They don't need to figure out who Seth is. As soon as the data comes, oh, that has to be Seth. There you go.
masks your digital footprint and stops those pesky brokers in their tracks. And it's not just brokers you gotta look out for. Ask yourself this: who owns the Wi-Fi you use to browse all your favorite content? Is it your mom, my mom, your boss, perhaps your local public library? Well, if you and your waifu keep having these not-so-secret rendezvous on their Wi-Fi, they can still see everything, even in incognito mode. Now, your mother will disown you, your boss will garnish your wages, and the library will revoke your card. Now, your JoJo library date is cancelled. But Seth, I hear you cry, all this computational back and forth sounds really complicated. Not to worry, my friend. ExpressVPN does all the hard work for you. Just turn it on, hit one button, and voila. All your network traffic is sent through a secure encrypted tunnel. How strong? So strong it would take a supercomputer 1 billion years to crack. Find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by visiting expressvpn.com/Seth or by clicking the link in the description below. What if I told you an action RPG released 2005 that's over 19 years old had fully working multiplayer? Until recently, when some corporate goon came in and ordered the unpaid intern to manually disable the multiplayer button. That's not a joke. They're just that petty. The latest copy of Dungeon Siege 2 on Steam presents you with a menu where the multiplayer is grayed out. So, naturally, people reverse engineered it, and it's working perfectly. We managed to finish the whole campaign using only the most premium gaming platform. It's old, it's scuffed, and it plays adverts that can be blocked by editing your System32 host file. But guess what? It has charm. This game infects my consciousness.
Did he just jump to another game? I thought it was part of some ExpressVPN stick. Okay. So why did they disable multiplayer? I'm guessing there must be some lawsuit equivalent to. They won't just shut off multiplayer. Like why put any effort into where they don't have to? I don't know. There must be some legal shit there. I don't know.
There's quotes from a tutorial burned into my brain.
Those must be the Bracken we learned about as children. Let's take them out. These Bracken are as weak as Calrathian ale. These creatures remind me of our scuffles with the Tacklat. Tough. These wooden creatures are weak to fire. Too bad I'm not a combat mage. These Ketrel are tough. Next time we see one, use my brutal attack power on it. That'll surprise them.
The story is very simple. You and your friend Drevin
Not gonna lie, if I'm playing that, they're constant screen. I will lose my shit. Shut the fuck up.
enlist in PMC Wagner. Before dying, he gives you his magical plot armor amulet.
We have completed our task. When can we expect our pay? Look out!
And then he dies. The rest doesn't really matter. You don't have to pay attention. Just kill things and have a good time.
Oh my lord, I don't care. Wait,
An age ago,
Wait,
Zara.
I skipped
don't care.
Anyway, we get captured as war criminals because we attacked a UNESCO heritage site. Understandably, the Dryades don't like us, and they've put good boy compliance collars on all the prisoners. One of them makes a break for it, which isn't very smart. On the other hand, you did enlist as a mercenary for people who look like this. They say, don't judge a book by its cover. I say, physicality reflects inner state, and all the most horrible people I've ever encountered look like something that escaped the minds of Moria. The prison warden gives you a chance to prove yourself by burning down a bunch of Morden watchtowers. This is one of several situations in this game where you have to think. Don't worry, there's not many. There's also not much dialogue in this game, except for Daru.
Yeah. Never judge anyone, never judge a book by cover and all that. But then again, right, that's what all humans do, because prejudice is part of human nature. I don't know, some years back survival bullshit, right? If something happens, like, remember that. So any sign of that, that's what's going to trigger in your head, whether you like it or not. So there you go.
Never stops talking, and she will begin her monologue in the middle of a fight. For this reason, I always recommend putting Daru in your party because it's very entertaining to get wiped by a dialogue box. This game can be quite intense. I'm not kidding when I say it's about 1-2 taps and you're dead. Free if you're a tank, and even a trash mob encounter can leave your party dead.
I'm gonna be real. This ain't looking good.
So it's important to have a plan, build, or idea.
Seriously, who the fuck plays this game without a multiplayer? This is like one of those games, right? Double A, Triple A, I don't know what the fucking game was. I used to play that. This feels similar to that. I don't play any games like that because I don't like this. Like, too many things going, too many lightnings happening. Where the fuck is our player? It's like too much, right? I need more narrative-driven game if I'm gonna like it. This is like too much going. I usually don't like it. But yeah, if there's no multiplayer, who the fuck plays this?
Of what you're doing, which we did not. You level up by doing damage of a particular affinity, melee, ranged, combat, or nature magic, and you can mix and match freely. Don't like your mage? Pick up a sword. Don't like your fighter? Take a bow. There's nothing stopping you from leveling every single tree except free time and practicality.
Basically,
and there's no
I like Elder
limitation
Scrolls.
on what any of your characters can be. Did my friend have to relevel Tar as a combat mage? No, but it's funny. The Broken Worlds expansion adds 2 hybrid classes, Fist of Stone and Blood Assassin. One of these sucks ass. The other one lets nature mages have more armor than the tank. If you find yourself dying, just get more armor. There is no other statistic that matters for the average player.
Basically,
Leveling
tank
and affinity
strategy.
lets you put skill points in that tree and certain combinations.
Oh, wait a minute. Our enemy has more powerful things that make it heavier, more heavier. Fuck it. Abrams, version 2 or whatever, like 75 tons. Fuck it.
Unlock powers. Powers win fights. Everything else is irrelevant. It's just filler until you use powers again. You charge them up by doing damage, and you release them when you want dopamine. The first difficulty curve is taking the elevator, as you will likely split your party in half, and then one of us is going to pull the lever again, and we're going to repeat the whole process.
It's not your fault. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, well, wait, don't worry.
Okay, get off. Yeah, get off the fucking.
This game is entirely about budgeting because the main thing you spend money on is potions, and you must make an informed decision. Do I buy the regular potion for my level that heals fast for however much money, or the weakest, shittiest potion for 15 gold? The answer is always the shittiest potion, and then you fill every single time.
Wait a minute, mic was mute. Yeah, every time I see some shit like this, right? Anybody who's played like open world RPG type of shit, they all know as soon as I heard it's like, of course, smaller one. What are you kidding me? What are you drawing out? Ferraris? The fuck you on about? What is it? I don't have a tree made of money. Of course, it's gonna be smaller one. Doesn't matter which game is. Any open world RPG, always buy the cheapest, smallest shit and just like pile it up. There you go.
Pile of your inventory with health and mana potions. Quick spoiler, melee and ranged do damage. Nature and combat do the same damage at the same rate, but they cost mana. So if you're relying on magic for damage, go back. don't do that. Also, do not ever try to alt-tab this game. It can't handle it, and you're gonna lose your save. However, I have room temperature IQ, and I'm conditioned, like a Pavlovian dog, that each time I hear that Discord notification, I am compelled to tab out and ruin everything. Proceeding with the story, you get told that you have the plague, and you should probably seek treatment from an elvish shrine. This does nothing because the plague is actually caused by shard souls, which are the spirits of aborted NBA players, haunting the Planned Parenthood. No one can see them except for your party, and you're already immune because of Draven's amulet. With nothing left to do, we take the road home. Along the way, we meet an old man who is definitely not the game's antagonist. He tells us we need to stop Doomsday by reforging the exact thing responsible for Doomsday and bringing it directly to the enemy leader. This is why we don't pay attention to the plot, the lore.
Anyone who's experienced enough suddenly comes for your help and guides your shit, yeah, he's probably gonna stab you in the back in the end. Why would he spend? It's a life lesson. All these games are life lesson, right? All this, in the past, like, oh, games are bad for children. They even teach you life lessons. There you go. Never trust somebody that much. Why the fuck would somebody help you at this level? There you go.
Or any kind of writing in this game. This is hack and slash. This is ADHD in its purest form, since we gave up being hunter-gatherers. Anyway, we purify a fortress and force all the shard souls out of their host bodies. Finding nothing else, they all dash into a snake, and we get our first boss fight, which is enjoyable because it's all downhill from
Has
here.
to be
I'm
Hydra,
gonna
why
skip
not?
around a bunch because, honestly, this game is defined by its boss fights. Everything in between is relatively straightforward and not worth mentioning. The next boss fight is a dark wizard. These are mortal men that have forsaken humanity by adding extra jaws to the side of their face. Originally, I was going to joke about this, but as I wrote the words Sloppenheimer in my script document, I felt deeply disgusted with myself and took a cold shower. It took us over an hour to kill him. This is easily the place where most people get filtered, because every one of his attacks will one-shot you, and one of them doesn't even have a projectile. It's just hit scan, and you're dead. You have to break down each part of his shield barrier to actually damage him, and then he can just recast it. And once you get him down to 1/3 of his health, he starts summoning his crystal. This is a DPS check that you have to save all your powers for and focus the moment it goes up, because if you don't, it kills everyone on the map, regardless of distance. And after destroying it, you have approximately 5 seconds before he summons another. Next up is a dragon. You have to shoot with a ballista.
I don't understand this. There are type of people, oh, boss fight has to be ultimately, perfectly hard. And just like do any means necessary. Like, is there a possibility you can defeat a boss? Then let's like only keep that possibility, make hard as possible. Even if something doesn't make sense. It's like, if you make something unrealistically hard just for the like, that chemical rush in your head, there you go, just like pressing buttons, right? Like those mobile games that like goes to like higher levels and you have to get that next level. That's the one thing, it's problem for games. I don't like that, right? You want to make hard but make it realistic. I'm not talking realistic as in like realistic world, no. Even if it like something involves like magic and shit, based on that, realistically make something hard. Don't just insanely make hard because you can, so just people can claim, oh, this is the hardest game to beat. No, fuck that. That's stupid. I don't like that.
While avoiding hordes of infinitely spawning crabs. If he goes in the air, he rains down fire that burns you, the crabs, and more importantly, the ballista. This temporarily overheats the controls. However, the fight glitched and the ballista was now permanently disabled. Half an hour into this, I wasn't planning on reloading the game. I gambled on the idea that I could reset the object state by getting the dragon to cook the controls. And it turned out that worked exactly as planned. Except this is a 2-stage boss fight, and now we have to fight its bloodied head in a narrow hallway with no cover. Objectively, we have been filtered. And yet, with everyone lying unconscious on the floor, we killed the dragon. How? Because for some reason, his second phase never actually kills you, and my nature mage, who was knocked out on the floor getting cooked by fireballs, was wearing a single piece of clothing with damage reflect that chunked the dragon's health for each tick of damage. Essentially, he died to a pair of slippers. What can I even say? We almost lost the first phase to a glitch, and we won the second with an exploit. A pleasant surprise, but usually it gets better before it gets worse, and we're no longer heading downhill.
Is that really an exploit? I mean, come on, it's part of the game. There you go. That's the fun of it. Fuck it.
Because we've reached the bottom. Misery has 2 definitions: borderline personality and fighting free dark wizards at the same time.
Oh man, this is gonna be rough. Okay, never mind. It's over.
I don't know if I can describe the incomprehensible pain of childbirth in a retarded position where you're fighting gravity, but I'll try describing something much worse. Imagine giving a boss the ability to cast a delayed explosion at your character's feet. Now make it spammable and make it affect everyone on screen. And if your characters are already dead, target them anyway. The problem of this fight isn't the free bosses spamming insta-kill area of effect attacks. The problem is that the animation to get up from being dead is longer than the animation that kills you. So that if you die in this fight,
No, that's just broken game. That's just fucking broken game. Like, come on, man. When you do shit like this, that's just a fucking. This is why I'm pretty sure I had experience in multiplayer game when I was a kid, where this spamming issue, right? Like, developers didn't think about certain animation and forgot it's a fucking multiplayer game where people can just spam. And I just hated that. Once you're down, you're fucking down. I hate that.
I cannot revive you, because the second I do, you get one shot. If not by the explosion, then by the billion insta-kill projectile beams that can clip an entire party. This fight didn't just break us, it broke the whole game. It went on for so long that eventually the game started to randomly pause, unpause, and desynchronize. Spells and AoE attacks stopped rendering, and eventually everything just grinded to a halt and crashed. So we rage quit the game for a week, and then
That's
we
when
got them in a
multiplayer was
second
grayed out,
try
I'm guessing.
in only half the time. I'm convinced most of my subconscious psyche was dedicated to training for the rematch, because I came back with reflex and strategy that I didn't know I had. If you can take out just one of them, the entire fight becomes much more tolerable. The last fight of the game is pretty okay. I don't expect you to have any trouble. You have to kill Valdez, who is normally invincible. However, this fight takes place in Baoshan Steel Limited, and the lack of workplace safety can work to your advantage.
You got it.
Thank God. I was gonna kill myself if I rage quit.
Then we tried the Broken World expansion.
I know all this. I'm not some child who...
Concentrate.
What the fuck
You must focus if you want to learn.
Dude, this sucks.
And spoiler, it's complete dog shit. Turns out there's a good reason it's not sold anywhere online. Skip that shit. There's nothing good about it. In summary, I thoroughly recommend Dungeon Siege 2. It will test your friendship, and it will either wither away into ash because you are not pure of heart, or cement and grow stronger. Because one day, you will play a competitive MOBA together. And if you're not prepared for that, you're going to be calling each other ethnic slurs for the last time. Because your e-friendship is over. You can play with up to 4 players. It's incredibly fun. I'll try and include instructions on how to patch the game in the description below, but in case this is not accurate, skill issue. Figure it out. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. I've been reading a lot of comments saying, lol, Seth isn't uploading. He's busy digging tunnels under the synagogue. These jokes hurt my feelings and caused me to self-harm. A warm thanks to the many members of a Merchants Guild generously funding.
Not the digging tunnel of thing. I think not frequently posting video, that hurt him. The digging tunnel, that's like, yeah, of course I'm doing that. Alright, so most of the video was not fantastic dizzy. He even tubed the YouTube because YouTube is just showing that game, not the second one, but okay. Second one just... How the fuck you play the game without multiplayer if that's the level of shit that goes around that, right? The 3 dark vision, whatever that was. How one person supposed to... I don't even know that. This is similar to, was the game like... Uber Ninja? I think Uber Ninja played it. Was it Martin? I don't know, that weird game that you dig a tunnel in the end, there's like a dragon attack. Forgot the fucking name of that. Which was good. I think it was Uber Danger video. I forgot that. But yeah, something similar to that. How the fuck are you supposed to do that without multiplayer? Yeah, Horrible, that was fantastic. Dizzy, and the second one, I guess, I don't even remember the game. I don't remember the name anymore. But yeah, if you like my reaction, don't forget to subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you next time.